And could you please call roll?
Director Bender,
Here.
Director Beitman,
Here.
Director Couch,
Here.
Director Mayo,
Here.
and President Orsini.
Present. Thank you. So let's go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. And Dave, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Are there any additions to the agenda?
We have no additions to the agenda.
Thank you. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
Approve the agenda.
Thank you, Dave. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Joe, could you please call roll?
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Mayo,
Yes.
and President Orsini.
Yes. Okay. Closed session discussion. At any time during the regular session, the board may adjourn to closed session to consider existing or anticipated litigation, liability claims, real property negotiations, license and permit determinations, threats to security, public employee appointments, personnel matters, evaluations and discipline, labor negotiations, or to discuss with legal counsel matters within the attorney-client privilege. There are no closed sessions scheduled. Public hearings. These are items of a quasi-judicial or legislative nature. Public comments relevant to these proceedings are invited. No public hearings are scheduled. Public comment and written communications.
Welcome.
Any person may address the board at this time upon any subject not identified on this agenda, but within the jurisdiction of the McKinleyville Community Services District. However, any matter that requires action will be referred to staff for report of action at a subsequent committee or board meeting. As to matters on the agenda, an opportunity will be given to address the board when the matter is considered. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Letters should be used for complex issues. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak for public comment? No? Do we have anybody online who wants to speak to public comment? Seeing none, no public comment, we'll move along to the consent calendar. The consent calendar items are expected to be routine and non-controversial, to be acted upon by the board of directors at one time without discussion. If any board member, staff member, or interested person requests that any item be removed from the consent calendar, it shall be removed so that it may be acted upon separately. Do we have any issues with the consent calendar? Do we want to take it on as one thing? If so, could I have a motion?
Move we approve the consent calendar.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. Joy, would you please call the roll?
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Mayo,
Yes.
and President Orsini.
Yes. Thank you. So we'll move along to continued and new business. So the first item on the agenda is consider adoption of resolution 2023-26, recognizing, honoring, and commending Kirsten Mesmer for 10 years of service, and that's on page 41. And that will be presented by Leslie Frisbee, Parks and Recreation Director.
Good evening. Attached for the Board of Directors review, Resolution 2023-26, recognizing, honoring, and commending Kirsten Mesmer for her 10 years of continuous service. Kirsten came to MCSD in 2013, relocating from the Lake Tahoe Basin. For the last 10 years, Kirsten has been responsible for the planning and implementation of all of our day camp programs, the middle school dances, and various leisure classes, as well as the management and coordination of facility rentals. Additionally, Kirsten has served on the Board of Directors for the McKinleyville Chamber of Commerce since 2018, and she's an integral part of MCSD's Employee Morale Booster Planning Committee. Beyond Kirsten's work performance and volunteer duties that she did in the community, she is also one of the most generous people in our office. She's known to create goodie bags for all of the employees' kids, both their animal children and their real children or human children. She is quick to lend her skills and talents, of which there are many. She's highly skilled at party planning and decorating, and can make you almost anything to iron on a shirt or bag or item, or even like etch into a glass. She is wonderful to work with. She cares a lot about this community, and I'm very pleased to get to present her with this resolution that I will read into the record right now. Resolution 2023-26, recognizing, honoring, and commending Kirsten Messmer for serving McKinleyville Community Services District for 10 continuous years. Whereas Kirsten Messmer, having faithfully served 10 continuous years as an employee of the McKinleyville Community Services District from December 16th, 2013 to December 16th, 2023. And whereas throughout her years of service, Kirsten has demonstrated commitment and dedication to the provision of recreation programs and community events. Whereas Kirsten is innovative, reliable, and resourceful while managing competing priorities with limited resources. And whereas Kirsten consistently meets the requirements of her job with high quality performance and service to providing the community safe, enriching, and engaging recreation opportunities. And whereas Kirsten is a well-respected employee, coworker, and active leader within the district as well as in the broader community. And whereas Kirsten lends her talents and experience to the betterment of the district, she has proven to be a valuable asset to the district and to the community of McKinleyville. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the McKinleyville Community Services District does hereby confer upon Kirsten Messmer its highest commendation for the dedicated service she has performed for the district and the community, and further marks her historic accomplishment as a McKinleyville Community Services District employee for 10 years. Staff recommends that the Board of Directors consider adoption of Resolution 2023-26, honoring Kirsten Messmer for her 10 continuous years of service at the McKinleyville Community Services District.
Thank you. So we'll go around to staff if staff has anything that they'd like to say, and then after that, we'll give the board a chance to speak up, and then we'll go to the audience. You want to start?
I said my things in my thing, but I love Kirsten. I feel so grateful to get to work with her. She saves my ass on a regular basis. I don't know. None of you know this, and I probably shouldn't admit it, but like she constantly reminds me of things that I would have forgotten that then would have turned into a terrible disaster. So I wouldn't be able to do my job without her. And I am so, so grateful that she works for us. She's also one of my very good friends.
Well, I was also going to echo what Leslie just said is.
Does she save your ass all the time?
Yes, exactly. Every time I think of the things that I've forgotten to do, ask Kirsten to do them. She said, "Oh, I've already done that." So it is amazing how she's always 2 steps ahead of everybody. And she's, like Leslie had also mentioned, she's always very willing to jump in and help, and is a wonderful cook. And everyone greatly appreciates all of her food. And all the work she does with the chamber too is just truly amazing, and really keeps the district's voice out in the community. So thank you, Kirsten, for all you do.
Okay, board, we'll start down here at this end and work our way around.
First of all, thank you, Kirsten. Appreciate the time, the energy, and the effort. 10 years goes by very quickly, doesn't it? And yet it's a significant part of a lifetime. And to be able to look back and look ahead 10 years and realize how much of your life and how important it has been to the community, to the others around you, to your fellow co-workers, that you've given this portion of your life to support. what I think is this very, very valuable organization and its programs. Once again, thank you.
So I agree completely with what Jim had to say, and it's been surprisingly quick. I mean, I went, what, 10 years? I mean, geez. But what the work that you do for the district is obvious. It's kind of like Rudolph's nose. I mean, it just really sticks out. So appreciate that. And how you represent McKinleyville Community Services District in the community actually stands out to me, because you're everywhere and you work really hard at it, and people like you. And on a more interpersonal note, you can tell a lot about someone's character by how well behaved their dog is. Thank you.
Dave?
Oh. Well, thank you for a decade of service. I'm kind of everybody else said the stuff I was going to say, but we do appreciate you, and I love your stuff with you know, the middle school dances and stuff. I think that's really important that that gets recognized. So thank you again.
Scotty?
Okay, congratulations. You know, I don't know you very well. I've just, since I started here, but our interactions have been very pleasant, and you've been very helpful, especially when I took on my role as the director at the senior center. You gave me the tour around here, and I don't think you missed a thing. You showed me everything. And I think that that's just great. I also thank you for your 10 years of service here and your service with the chamber as well. And I hope that you continue that, because you obviously know what you're doing.
Congratulations. One of the first things that struck me about you when I met you was your attitude about I can do that. I don't think I've ever heard you say I can't do that once since you started working here. And I was struck by that and very much impressed with that. Thank you for stepping up and taking over with the chamber. You've done an excellent job working with the chamber as our liaison with them. I don't know if you wanted to do it when you first started doing it, but you sure look like you really appreciate it and enjoy it now. So thanks a lot for doing that. I think that we're very lucky to have you working for us here at McKinleyville Community Services District. I can't think of a staff member that doesn't feel the same way about you. So anyway, with that said, thank you very much for all that you do for the district, and especially for the kids, in that part of your job is very important, and being able to create those and administer the programs and things that you do is very important for our kids. And I'm sure it's very rewarding to see them grow up and because you get them really early, and then hopefully at some point in time we get to sell them water and sewer when it's all said, done, and over with. So anyway, thank you very much. So now we'll go ahead and open it up to anybody from the audience that would like to speak. I'm sure Kyle's got something to say. He always does. Huh? Oh, Joey, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to commend Kirsten for her 10 years and just say that Kirsten is kind, she's helpful, she stands up for what she believes in, and she's just, as a recreation leader, she's such a good example to the kids that she leads and that come through our programs, and one of the best graphic designers I've ever met. So thank you, Kirsten.
Nicole, did you want to say anything? I don't hate to put you on the spot, but okay, thank you. Okay, now we'll go to the audience. Yeah, please. Because the people on Zoom can't hear you if you don't talk into the microphone.
You don't want to?
We would like to work with, at the district, and we would like to thank Kirsten for the goodie bags every Halloween. Not true. Congratulations, Kirsten. Doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it has. It's been fast. Look forward to many more years.
I want to thank her for coming because when you're not here, he doesn't talk very good.
David Baldhauser, and I've worked with Kirsten since she started. She's measurably an asset to the district. Got to work that measure B in there. But she's
I didn't
pleasant,
get that at first, Dave.
and you always know when Zephyr's around. And Zephyr's been a breath of fresh air since she's brought her, and she brightens up the office, and just congratulations. Thank you for all you do.
Hi, I'm Jen Sanderson, and I'm a recreation coordinator in the Parks and Recreation Department, and I'm basically like the counterpart with Kirsten. We're teammates. We are partners in our endeavors here in McKinleyville for recreation, and so I have a perspective as a teammate and somebody who has the pleasure to work with Kirsten every day. And I feel like in the 10 years that Kirsten has been in our department, things have definitely been great, and she's brought energy and professionalism and just a know-how and a great drive to our department, and it's great to be part of the team. We've been through a lot together in 10 years. We've gone through some low times in the pandemic years where we had to just scrape and try to keep things going, and we managed to do that together with Leslie's guidance and and help from the community. We've seen every kind of customer come in. We've dealt with all kinds of phone calls and worked together on projects. And I can just say, as somebody who works with her every day, that she is an excellent teammate. She is a great person to work with, and I feel lucky to have a partner like Kirsten in our department. So congratulations. 10 years is awesome, and I'm looking forward to doing many more great things together. So congrats.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Sorry, I didn't have anything prepared, but I did want to say that I enjoy working with Kirsten. And she does make goodie bags for the kids, including my daughter. I've interacted a lot with Kirsten just as a parent, because my daughter's in the Parks and Recs programs. And so I just want to commend her from that perspective, that she does such a great job putting on the programs, and the kids just love her, and the kids love Zephyr too. So it's a joy to work with her, and she helps us out a lot in the front office, and I really appreciate you.
Anybody else? Okay, let's, do we have a certificate or in a photo op that we want to do for this? Yeah, oh, Kirsten, I'm sorry.
For photo op, do both together? Or no?
No, she can, no, Leslie's running the meeting now, so we'll go ahead and let
Well,
Kirsten
I
talk.
should have read Leslie's resolution before coming, so I wasn't blindsided. Made me a little teary-eyed. But I'm here to accept this award 7 years early for Zephyr. So I didn't bring her. She's been home inside all day. She was going to be crazy if I brought her. But she'll be, at work probably later this week. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for your kind words. And I really do. I didn't know where the hell McKinleyville was when I accepted my interview application. I had to Google it. At the time, I was working later night shifts, and the call actually woke me up when Leslie called me originally, and it was like, "Hey, you want to come for an interview?" And I was like, "Sure." And so taking this job was definitely not necessarily a whim because I wanted to work, I needed to get my first full-time job in recreation somewhere, and I wanted it to be a place that I wanted to live. So I applied in lots of mountain communities in California. And I'm very happy that I landed here, and McKinleyville is such a great community. And I'm so glad that I got immersed even more with the chamber and with all the recreation programs that we do with all the communities. So thank you so much.
So Leslie, are we done with that item? Oh, that's right. Thank you. So we have a motion. Do we have a motion in a second?
I would move we
Okay.
adopt resolution 2023-26, recognizing, honoring, and commending Kirsten Mesmer for 10 years of service.
Second.
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Joey, would you please call roll?
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Absolutely, yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Mayo,
Yes.
and President Orsini.
Hell, yes.
No sense to get.
So anyway, we'll move along to item E2, which is considered adoption of resolution 2023-27, recognizing, honoring, and thanking David Baldauser for his 26 years of service upon his retirement. And that's on page 45. And that will be presented by Nicole Alvarado, who is the finance director.
Okay, thank you. Attached for the Board of Directors review is Resolution 2023-27, recognizing, honoring, and thanking David Baldauser for his 26 years of service. Please join us in presenting David with the resolution, which staff would like to read into the record, and join us in acknowledging David's outstanding service to McKinleyville Community Services District. So whereas David Baldauser has faithfully served 26 continuous years as an employee of McKinleyville Community Services District from February 3rd, 1997 to December 29th, 2023. Whereas throughout his years of service, David has set an incredibly high standard of community service, commitment, and dedication. Whereas David lent his talents and leadership to the district, first as a customer service representative and then as a customer service supervisor, capably leading and directing the efforts of the front office team with both exceptional professionalism and a great sense of humor, if one acknowledges puns as humor. Whereas David is deeply dedicated to providing extraordinary customer service to our ratepayers and genuinely cares about helping them understand and resolve a wide variety of issues, and cares deeply about supporting and assisting his coworkers, managers, and department heads with helpful, timely information. Whereas David has trained and provided an example of what customer service means to a generation of customer service representatives and other staff at the district, and made high-quality customer service an ingrained mission and value of the district. And whereas David's loyalty to the district, unwavering commitment to customers and coworkers, and reliability in all matters truly make him an irreplaceable asset to the district and to the community of McKinleyville. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the McKinleyville Community Services District does hereby confer upon David Baldosser its highest commendation for the dedicated service he has performed to the district and the community, and further marks his historic accomplishment as McKinleyville Community Services District employee for 26 years, and acknowledges that he will be impossible to replace, and that we wish him nothing but good things in his retirement.
Thank you. So we'll go ahead and ask staff for their comments on David.
I had a couple comments.
Okay.
Okay. So I've only been David's boss for a little less than 2 years. But I just want to tell you, David, that it has been just a real joy to work with you. Everybody who knows David knows that he's one of the nicest people you will ever meet. There are only a handful of individuals that I've met in my personal lifetime that I feel that I know will always be honest and trustworthy and genuine. And David is one of those individuals. I just want to give you a little anecdote about what a great person David is. Last year during the earthquakes, all the power went out, and the earthquake happened and my home shook, and I checked my phone and I had a text from David, and he said, "Nicole, are you and your daughter okay?" And he just does those types of things. Whenever I was sick, he would text me and ask how I was feeling. And I just want to highlight that I don't think that that's because I'm special. I think that's because David's special. And he's the type of guy that would do that for just about anybody. So David, I just want to tell you how much I'm honored to work with you and honored to consider you my friend and my mentor.
Who's next?
I'll jump in. Dave very much is the heart and soul of the district. I think I've said that before, and I know I'll say it again. He is going to be impossible to replace. However, he has set such a great example. I hope some of it has rubbed off on the rest of staff. I know it has. And so we'll endeavor to keep his high standards alive, which are impossible, but you will be very much missed, Dave.
You made it. I've been here 12 years, and Dave was going to retire in about 5 years when I started. And I kept on thinking, Dave's going to retire in 5 years. Dave's going to retire in 5 years. And I thought there were going to be 5 more years. And then he announced his retirement, and he actually did it. And David is the kind of person that can see in you what you can be, and is willing to walk alongside you until that comes to fruition. He believes in you in times that you don't really believe in yourself. Dave has walked me through the birth of my daughter, my first coming onto the district, losing my dad. Dave has a way of not just being a boss, but also he's like the office dad in humor too. He's got a lot of dad humor, but yeah, he's like everyone's saying, he's irreplaceable. And I'm so grateful that I've been able to learn from and come up in the district under Dave. And he's going to be sorely missed when customers call and they say, "Hey, I want to talk to Dave." And we actually have to legitimately say, Dave's not here, man. So, David, what a career and what a legacy you've left. Congratulations.
I'm so excited for you, Dave. I'm a little bit envious. I'm trying to retire myself, but I several more years. I had working with Dave for almost 20 years now, and he is one of the funniest guys in the office. And I find puns funny. I mostly find them really smart. I think you have to be really smart to come up with them. And I think one of the greatest ones just happened the other day when Dave sent out an email that was maybe 3 sentences long, and within 3 sentences, he included at least 7 puns. So highly skilled, very entertaining, and yeah, we all know his customer service skills are top-notch, masterclass. I think he's going to be doing trainings on the side in his retirement. Just kidding. But no, I wish you the best. Congratulations. I am really, really excited for you. Thank you for your service.
Okay, we'll move it to the board now. We'll start at one end and work our way across.
Hi, Dave. It's great meeting you. Thank you so much for all of the warmth and caring and making me feel at home. Unfortunately, I didn't get to experience 26 years with you. In fact, just a little bit less than a year at this point. But your presence has made it a really enjoyable year so far, as I think it has for many, many others for a long period of time. And I just want to say how grateful I am to be able to walk into the office and have you be present there with all of your warmth and caring. So thank you so much.
Where are you hiding, Dave? Oh, there you are. Glad you got to see me. I'm going to save the fun stuff for your party and tell you thank you and congratulations, and just say one thing tonight. It's pretty cool. People have abilities. So I think you're born with them, most of them, but you got the ability to soothe the savage beast. And that just don't get passed down the food chain. We're keeping our fingers crossed, though. Thank you, Dave.
We'll work our way over here.
Nope. Well, I was asleep there. Well, 26 years, that's a pretty good term. And I can remember back before I was on the board, either myself or my wife would go into the office and you knew us by name just as soon as we walked in that front door. I was kind of always amazed at that. And I always have appreciated your service to this district. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your service. I know that when we bought our home here in McKinleyville, our new one, when we actually had to pay a water bill, you were there. I remember walking into the office, and I'd come in every month and make my payment. You got to know who I was real fast. I was no one special, but you knew that I was Scott Binder. And eventually you learned how to pronounce my last name right after I told you once. Not very many people do that. Every year when I'd start my lawn irrigating, I'd get a phone call. Scott, do you have a leak or are you watering your lawn? I'm watering my lawn, Dave. After many, many years of this, I finally started calling him before I started irrigating my lawn, so to save him a phone call. It was about 5 seconds. He'd say, hello, Scott. I'd say, I'm irrigating. Okay, thanks for the call. Bye. That'd be it. Perfect. Thank you very much for being the face of the McKinleyville Community Services District, the one that the public knows. You know, the board is supposed to be the face of the district, but no.
Yeah, that's true.
You are. You probably always will be for a while. And so best of luck in your retirement and have a lot of fun.
Thank you, everybody. Dave, thank you so much for your service to the community. I remember when you started working for the district, I was still out and back, and got to know you when we had things that would go on with where we needed to have information from the front office. You were always able to provide the information in a timely manner. And that was very much appreciated. One thing that I'd like to say is that when Dave MCSD has always had a culture of service. I think David came to work for MCSD and turned it into an art form, and refined it and took it so seriously that it is through osmosis and through his actions been passed down through all the people that, I don't know how many people you've actually trained in the front office, David, that have become very good at what they do. And a lot of that has to do with their abilities, but also what a great teacher you are, what a great steward you are of the information that you possess related to what goes on in the front office. And you know, I think that Nicole touched on this, but you're one of the most genuine people I've ever met in my whole life, and so sincere and so caring. That goes a long way and that's above and beyond your job. That's the type of person you are, Dave. And I think you should be proud of the man that you are because of that. And so I've got a lot more that I can say, and I'll hold it for the 15th. But anyway, congratulations and thank you so much for your service, and thank you so much for what you've done for the front office. And with that, I'll entertain a motion. Oh wait, now I guess we gotta, I got so enthralled in my thing, I forgot to ask the people. We'll go ahead and take testimony from the audience.
I'm Dave Sloan. I've been part of the district in a support role, married to Diane for a lot longer than the time she's been at the district, but for her 29 years at the district. And I was lucky enough to be young with Dave. I was trying to figure it out, and I think it's somewhere around 40 years that we've known each other. Diane and I were hashing it out, and she said to me, do you know that when Dave applied to the district, there were over 200 applications for his position? Well, it turns out the cream rises to the top. It seems like 26 years is a long time, but I've known you so much longer. It's been a pleasure being your friend. For a man who has never sought the limelight, never tried to stand in the bright light or demanded attention, how in the world do you know everybody? What you do, being yourself, puts you in the middle of everything. I think everyone here would echo that. And it's your demeanor and your personality that makes us all truly appreciate you. So as your friend, as the great co-spouse to the district with Audrey, I'd like to join everyone in saying thank you.
Any other people from the audience?
So my name is Evie Young, and I have only currently worked at the district for 2.5 years. I just recently took over the role of Department of Finance and Administration Supervisor from David. I will say that those are going to be some very, very tough shoes to fill. As Joey said earlier, about 5 years, I was hoping I had 5 more years. So when he told me he was retiring, I didn't talk to him for 3 hours. So I will say that I've learned a lot in the last 2.5 years. I was hoping to get some more knowledge. You have so much information trapped in that body that I'm hoping to be able to gain that experience in the next 25 years. And I'm hoping that I can, do the district proud and fill Dave's roles, but those are tough shoes to fill. So just know that. But I have greatly appreciated working with you.
My name is Norm. I feel a little out of place saying something. I've only been at the district for about a year, and but it would be remiss of me not to mention that Dave's various qualities, while all fantastic, I think the one that I'm going to miss the most is just, I think it was already mentioned by one of the board members, just how he can, in a negative situation, which we sometimes have to deal with, he is always able to mediate it and do it better than anyone I've ever seen in my life. And I think that that is in no small part because he genuinely cares more than anyone I've ever met about everyone. And that's, the district is really going to miss that. So I'm very happy for you in your retirement, and I'm going to miss you.
We gotta we gotta quit doing this, Kyle. David, I've been working with you now for close to 20 years. So I've been here for some of your, a lot of your employment, and I've got to say that I don't know, how I'm going to see MCSD the same without David there. David has always been there. He's always been a steady and reliable person at MCSD, someone we can all count on and rely on, and a solid, consistent person and a really good person to work with. And, it's in all these years I've seen, I've been in the back and I've heard you out interacting with the customers in the front. And, people come and they ask for David. They call and ask for David because they know that they have the relationship with him over these years and he cares about them, and he'll help them and get things done. So, I think that one of the things that he's demonstrated to me is that no matter how a customer may come at you or be upset or come in with emotions riding high, you are the person who has the control of yourself. And David has great self-control. And so that is something that I have admired and, try to take to heart when I have to deal with difficult customers or, challenging situations. I've also, we can't, talk about all these great things about David without mentioning his faith. And I think that that is something that David has just proven through his walk in life, that his strong faith has really, it is who he is. It shows who he is. And so, and I also want to say that, on all these years, I've gotten to see David as a loving family member for his family, and Audrey and David going to lunch together. It's beautiful, and coming together at lunch breaks, and just you can just tell that they just love each other so much, and that's a great thing to witness. And and the last thing, I guess one of the last things I'll add is that I've been here long enough to see that we have employees that have bridged the gap between the old days and the modern days, and David is one of those people who's, we look back at the pictures from back in the years, and David was there. When we did our 50th anniversary, we brought up all these pictures and you can see that David has bridged the gap of all these years, and with all this experience, it's going to be tough to replace, like it's been said, impossible. But one of the last things I want to say is that what I've really appreciated is our sincere talks that we've been able to have on our breaks, or just meeting in the kitchen. Dave will ask about my family, and sincerely wants to know how things are going, and that really means a lot to me. And I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss our talks and our joking. And but I'm happy for you, and congratulations on retirement, and enjoy yourself.
How's it going, Dave? I worked with the district for 17 years now, and Dave's been there since the beginning. Not to take anything away from any of the other staff, but you are going to leave a hole, and I've always appreciated you being there, and I don't get to see you every day, but I just want to say congratulations and good luck with everything.
I'll keep it very short. He has never made a joke at home. Not one, not a single joke. I don't know what you guys are talking about this whole pun thing. Never heard him.
He's not lying. But it's amazing to see how much all of you have said about my dad. It's all true. It's been, I know quite a few of you just been coming in and talking with Pop every once in a while. Or Joey, we've seen each other, I don't know how many hundreds of times. But it truly is amazing. Thank you all.
There we go. Good evening. I'd like to thank you for the resolution in recognition of my retirement coming up at the end of the year. When I applied for the position 27 years ago, whatever, and was called for an interview, the Lord caused it to work out for his glory. The only good thing in me, as Jen's mentioned, is Jesus Christ. He has seen fit to bless me in spite of myself. And since Monday, February 3rd, 1997, I've been making it a habit to show up at the district and attempt to provide the best customer service to the residents of McKinleyville. I had lost interest in working at a bank where the pressure was intense to sell financial products. Being able to sell water was much more relaxing and the stress reduction was palpable. Many of you may know that my grandfather, Grant Ramey, was an original board member from when the district was created. The pump station at the intersection of Azalea Avenue and North Bank Road was named in honor of him and his contribution to the district and the community of McKinleyville. He was very proud of that. He joked that he was surprised they did not name the sewer plant or a sewer lift station after him, though, because anyways. The people I've been fortunate to work with have made the journey very enjoyable. Sharon Dennison was involved in my interview along with the current general manager at the time, Bruce Buell, on January 20th of 1997. I'm pretty sure I told a joke or made some type of a pun during that interview, but they hired me anyways. Sharon would often shake her head after that. Diane Sloan, our current human resources specialist, was the assistant business manager at the time, and she had been working in the district since 1995. She also came from banking, and we often had many of the same customers. We went from being competitors to coworkers. She was and still is a tremendous asset for the district. The district is fortunate to have her skills and abilities. Board President Orsini. Nobody started the timer, so I've got all night. Previously General Manager Orsini, previously Operations Director Orsini, previously Operations Lead Man Orsini, was working at the district for many years before I started. His friendship and leadership is much appreciated. Current Operations Director James Henry was a seasonal worker when I started, so I actually started before him. I think he finally has made it past his probationary period and may stick around. And because I have a semi-captive audience, if you're going to tell a joke about the eyes, the cornea, the better. And I am developing eye problems. I won't be able to see myself coming into work at the first of the year. I also could say I don't have the stomach for working here anymore, but that's a different story. Audrey can testify. I suffer from CDO. It's like OCD, but in alphabetical order. And I think the people who shorten their name to Pat are missing a trick, by the way. Uh, you know, I really enjoyed working at the district. I have a few more on here. I'll miss the interaction with like the customers. I really appreciated them. Mr. Beitman, while it's only been a year that you've been on the board, your horses and their water use have been impressive over the years. Dennis and his water use as well. I appreciated that up and down and yeah. And thank you, Scott, for being kind enough to alert us to the start of your irrigation each year. So, and all of the other kind words. And I do have to look up to Evie and Norman, literally. But I appreciate them and the fact that they're stepping up, and Ben is new to the team as well, and Laurel, and just the front office crew is coming together. Thank you again, everybody, again, for the kind words. So.
So, anybody else from the audience want to testify? Okay, there's nobody online, it looks like, with their hands up. So, at this point in time, we'll go ahead and, we'll do the photo op right now. Yeah, I guess we can do the vote and get that over with. Let's go. I'll entertain a motion.
Move the motion.
Second.
No second.
Joey, could you please call roll?
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Mayo,
Yes.
and President Orsini.
Heck yeah. Okay, we'll go ahead and do the photo op.
You know, he didn't get his calling demeanor from Brad.
No, not at all.
way. Brad, start with advice. I don't know what the plan was, but I jumped the gun.
Yeah, go ahead. Might as well. I think I'm gonna go, so is the refreshments? People want to grab a refreshment?
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy it, but I'd eat one.
Actually got a little wet today.
Almost. Wants to get into a normal winter, you know? Wait.
Lost my helper, so without cleaning the barn down without which is god awful deal. It was pretty wet. I got a big old billy goat, not billy goat with it, that I stake out for different places, people, blackberry briar, one thing, he's a. I'll tell you, when it's been raining like this, when I untie him, I open the place where he goes, he runs like a bullet. I don't know where he's at, get inside that stuff. Spend the night dry.
They're not stupid.
They're not.
Ooh, that looks pretty good.
They think
Are these from the Arcata place? They make the best. I'm on the wagon from eating sweets right now. I hated that you brought them.
Go for Thanksgiving dinner.
Did you?
Yeah, killed a nice. Well, about 11 months. And that one Jamaican kid, he made a Jamaican stew curry there.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I bet. Goat's good. I love eating
His
goat.
mom sent him all of these Jamaican.
Jamaicans know how to cook.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I mean, she
They don't eat a lot of beef.
he never cooked it himself.
Yeah.
She did. So she is talking to him. She was in New York City, well, Brooklyn.
Talking him through it.
Talking him through it, right? You know, she said the spice, all the spices.
Mhm.
Not difficult now, you know.
Yeah.
But it stews it for about 4 or 5 hours.
So anyway, we've got quite a bit more to go with the agenda, so we'll get going on the agenda. So now we'll move along. Yeah, thank you, Dave.
Nice to see you out in public when it's not a funeral.
So anyway, we'll move along to item E3, consider approval of resolution 2023-28, approving the assignment and assumption of the grant agreement for the community forest between MCSD, the state of California, and the Trust for Public Lands. And that's on page 49. And Patrick Kaspari, General Manager, will present this one.
Thank you, President Orsini. On November 8th, 2021, Trust for Public Lands and the State of California Natural Resources Agencies entered into a grant agreement for the acquisition of certain real property to convert into a permanent green belt and community forest for public enjoyment. It is the intent that following the purchase of the property by TPL shall have the landowner, Green Diamond Resources Company, convey fee title of the property to MCSD by directed deed. TPL and MCSD agreed to this approach, and the board of directors of MCSD approved the memorandum of understanding to this effect at their October 6, 2021 board meeting. Concurrently with the conveyance of the property to MCSD, TPL wishes to assign its rights and obligations as grantee under the grant agreement to MCSD. Resources is willing to consent to this assignment and assumption subject to the terms and conditions of the assignment, which is included as attachment 1 to your staff note in your board packets. Upon the acceptance of the assignment, MCSD will assume the obligations of TPL as grantee under the grant agreement. The understanding of all parties is that TPL will have completed all requirements of the grant agreement prior to the transfer of the deed and that the grant requirement that will remain to be executed is that MCSD agrees to execute and submit to resources for recording an original memorandum of unrecorded grant agreement deed restrictions concurrently with this assignment as detailed in section 4 of the assignment. The assignment also outlines that it is the intent of the parties that the property be used, held, operated, maintained, and managed in accordance with the grant agreement as a community forest, and that MCSD shall not sell, transfer, exchange, or otherwise convey the property. The assignment and assumption of the grant agreement was reviewed by District Legal Counsel, and District Legal Counsel is with us tonight. Thanks for hanging in there, Russ. And the Community Forest Committee. Legal counsel, staff, and the committee met to review comments on the assignment and recommended the board approve the assignment by approval of resolution 2023-28. So at this time, staff recommends that the board review the material provided, discuss, take public comment, and approve resolution 2023-28, approving the assignment and assumption of the grant agreement for the community forest by title only, and approve the board president to sign any necessary documents.
Thank you. Anybody from the board have any questions?
I have been under the fiscal analysis. How did we come up with 100,000 a year?
Parks and Rec Director Frisbee researched Arcata, what Arcata was spending on their community forest, and we rounded it up. It is very much a ballpark estimate.
Thank you. Anybody else from the board? Does our general counsel have anything you'd like to add to this?
No, the document looks in order and consistent with the project and process the district embarked on over 2 years ago. Of course, the most significant component of the transfer are the deed restrictions that are in your board packet, but those are clearly articulated. The short of it, of course, is that the district will hold this property in perpetuity for its community forest and public access beneficial use and attendant recreation. So, but again, that is the most critical kind of component, deed restriction on the real property. So,
all right, thank you. Yeah, at this point in time, I'll open it up to public comment. There's nobody in the audience, and I don't see any hands online, so we'll bring it back to the board. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to accept the item.
Okay, thank you. And second?
Second.
And we have a motion and a second. Could you please call roll, Joey?
Director Binder,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Mayo,
Yes.
President Orsini.
Yes. Okay, we're going to move along to item E4, which is consider approval of resolution 2023-29, approving the donation agreement for the community forest between MCSD and the Trust for Public Lands. And this will be presented by Leslie Frisbee, Parks and Recreation Director. And it's on page 71.
As the board is aware, and as detailed in the previous agenda item, the Trust for Public Lands and the State of California Natural Resource Agency entered into a grant agreement for the acquisition of the community forest property to convert it into a permanent greenbelt and community forest for public enjoyment. It is the intent that following the purchase of the property by Trust for Public Land, Trust for Public Land shall have the landowner, Green Diamond Resources Company, convey fee title of the property to MCSD by directed deed. Per the donation agreement in attachment 1, Trust for Public Land desires to donate the property to the McKinleyville Community Services District for the purposes of forever conserving the timber harvesting productive capacity, aquatic and terrestrial habitat value, scenic qualities, and maintaining the open space and other conservation characteristics of the property. Approval of the donation agreement stipulates that MCSD is willing to accept a donation of the property from Trust for Public Lands by a direct deed from the landowner, Green Diamond Resources Company, on the terms and conditions set forth in the agreement. The donation assignment was reviewed by District Legal Counsel and the Community Forest Committee. Some relatively minor edits were made, which Trust for Public Lands accepted, and Legal Counsel, staff, and the committee recommend the board approve the agreement by the approval of resolution 2023-29. Staff recommends that the board review the material provided, discuss, take public comment, and approve resolution 2023-29, approving the donation agreement for the community forest property by title only, and approve the board president to sign all necessary documents.
Thank you. Any other staff comments on this?
Yes. So during the review, President Orsini caught one item about adding mineral rights to the donation agreement. So item B in attachment 1, bottom of page 73, it walks through how the landowner is going to convey timber rights, water rights, grazing rights, and access rights. And staff recommends that the board approve the donation agreement with the addition of mineral rights to that paragraph. We did discuss that with district legal counsel, and he does not see a problem with
And
that.
there's no covenants in the prior deed about that?
No.
Okay, very good. Yeah, if we ever strike oil,
Natural gas.
natural gas, whatever. Thank you. Does general counsel have any comments on this one?
Yeah, kind of just briefly on the mineral rights issue. It is kind of a unique issue with real property law. Typically, the mineral rights go with any transfer of the fee interest in the real property, but it can be severed. And if it is severed, then it then has a life of its own and can be transferred independently. So like the title policy you're about to approve, it has a standard mineral rights exclusion, because historically title companies don't like to insure mineral rights because sometimes, historically there's been transfers of mineral rights that aren't recorded and there aren't a record that can be located. But there's no indication from any of the recorded instruments that there's ever been a mineral rights severance for the real property the district will take title to. And it's not contemplated in the grant deed from Green Diamond that they would reserve any mineral right interests in the transfer. It'd be a total fee transfer. So should be okay, but the reality is there's always some fear that there's some unknown, unrecorded document out there that somebody asserts late in the day, but not typical.
Yeah, the mineral rights for me was just, it was kind of inconsequential, but I thought I'd bring it up. The water rights was much more important to me on this one. So anyway, does the board have any input on this? No. Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion.
Okay, I'll go ahead and move that we approve resolution 2023-29, approving the donation agreement for the community forest between MCSD and the Trust for Public Lands by title only, including the aforementioned amendment.
Okay. And does that also include authorize the board president to sign the agreement?
Yes.
Okay. I'll entertain a second.
I'll second.
Okay, good. We have a motion and a second. Joey, could you please call roll?
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Mayo,
Yes.
President Orsini.
Yes. I neglected to ask for public comment, so at this point in time, I'll entertain public comment. Oh, there's none. So we'll move along to item E5. So this is consider approval of I'm popping my peas. Consider approval of resolution 2023-30, approving the preliminary title report for the community forest property. And this will be presented by General Manager Patrick Kaspari, and this is on page 89.
Thank you, President Orsini. So as the board is aware, we are trying to acquire the community forest property. We broke all of these out into separate resolutions, just so if there was an issue with one of these, we could approve the others and move forward. So this one is approving the preliminary title report. They ran the preliminary title report. District Legal Counsel reviewed it, as well as the Community Forest Committee. So resolution 2023-30 is the approval of the preliminary title report. And staff recommends that the board review the material provided, discuss, take public comment, and approve resolution 2023-30, approving the preliminary title report for the community forest property by title only.
Thank you. Any other staff comments on this? General Counsel, do you have any comments on this?
Yeah, just briefly, there will be some slight edits to the title report prior to actual deed recording and issuance of the title policy. The most significant is in the legal description. Green Diamond has called out an exception for areas of real property that are being adjusted by lot line adjustment with a couple of the neighboring property owners, but the district is fully aware of this process by which they're in essence cleaning up the boundaries between these parcels prior to the conveyance, but that information will be inserted. Other than that, we anticipate that final title report will look substantially similar to what's in the board's packet.
Thank you. Any comment from the board? Public comment? Any comment from the audience? Seeing there's no audience, I'm going to assume there's no public comment. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move resolution 2023-30.
Okay. And does that include authorizing the general manager to sign?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Joy, could you please call roll?
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Bateman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Mayo,
Yes.
President Orsini.
Yes, thank you. We'll move along to item E6. And that's consider approval of resolution 2023-31, approving the road and access easements for the community forest. And that will be presented by General Manager Kaspari, and that's on page 169.
Thank you, President Orsini. So this one is for the access and easements there are several of them across the property that we've had surveyed in. One is the Murray Road access point, and we expanded that to allow for additional parking area. There's another easement off of Second that Parks and Rec Director Frisbee and I walked with Green Diamond here last week, and it cuts straight in from Second and intersects with the community forest property. They followed a natural contour to try to keep it as a level road to get out there. The third easement is at the southern end of the property off East Cochrane. That is not a public easement, but it's a maintenance easement for us to access the community forest property to do any maintenance we need on the southern end of the property. So the easement agreement is laid out, and staff recommends that the board review the material provided, discuss, take public comment, and grant approval of the road and access easements exhibited in attachment 1 by approval of resolution 2023-31 by title only. And approve, actually, this one has the general manager's name on it, and approve the general manager to sign all necessary documents.
Very good. Thank you. We'll bring it back to,
I'm sorry, actually, President Orsini, there were a couple things in there that you caught in your review. One of which they had caught, they being Trust for Public Lands had caught. And that's on page 171. The very first sentence calls McKinleyville Community Services District a California nonprofit. That has already been changed to a special service district. And the other one is on page
177.
177. Thank you. It gives the dates for when we cannot use the roads, and they're reversed. They say from May 15th to October 15th. It should be from October 15th to May 15th. So that one has not been caught, but we'll point that out and suggest that edit to Green Diamond.
Yeah, because we'd hate the only time we could go in there is when it's muddy.
Yeah.
So with that being said, does General Counsel have any comments on this item?
No, just there's some additional formatting issues that we'll want to address before it's actually recorded. We don't want to be rejected by the recorder's office, but for the most part. No, as long as the district and staff is comfortable with the reciprocal road course outlaid in the easement, that'd be the critical thing, of course, but would defer to staff on that in terms of the road corridors.
Very good. So with that being said, I'll entertain a motion.
Well, I will jump in again. Resolution 2023-31 with the board president's signature.
Actually, GM's authorized GM signature on this one.
Authorized GM, okay.
GM this time.
Do we have a second?
No, second.
So we have a pending motion and a second. I'll go to public comment. Seeing no hands online or anybody in the audience, I'll go ahead and call roll, Joey, please.
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Mayo,
Yes.
President Orsini.
Yes. Thank you. Moving right along.
Yeah, and Russ, I think we're done with the community forest things. And very much appreciate you joining us and hanging in there.
Thank you, Russ.
Yeah, thanks, Russ.
Yep, good night.
So this is item E7. It's considered possible implementation and criteria for an application of exemption from the Measure B assessment. And this will be presented by General Manager Kaspari, and it's on page 217.
As the board is aware, the increased Measure B assessment passed with 63% approval at the November 1st, 2023 regular meeting. During the process of the Measure B reassessment study, the public questioned whether it would be possible to be exempt from the assessment. Staff performed some initial research on whether that was possible and discussed with Lou Edwards Group, Wildan, and the County Assessor's Office. It is possible. However, the Assessor's Office stated that the district would have to develop and implement such a program. Staff then informed the public that this would be a question that we would have to bring back to the board if Measure B passed. Staff is now bringing this back to the board to get direction on whether this is a program that they would like staff to research and bring back to the board for a final decision on the implementation. Staff has done some preliminary research on standards that other municipalities have put into place for similar cases and found a commonality of 2 criteria to qualify for the exemption. The first one are those who are 65 years or older, own and reside at the property for which the exemption is claimed. The claimant must provide a driver's license or Medicare card and a current property tax statement. 2000 census data for zip code 95519 indicates that there are 2,532 people over age 65 at that time. And assuming 2 people per household, this roughly translates to 1,266 houses. If all are qualified and applied, this results in a reduction of $119,004 in Measure B payments, or approximately 17% of the total assessment, which is $716,125. Second criteria are those who receive SSI regardless of age, own and reside at the property for which the exemption is claimed. The claimant must provide a driver's license or Medicare card, a current property tax statement, and a letter from the Social Security Administration qualifying the recipient of SSI, or a copy of a recent SSI check receipt. 2000 census data for zip code 95519 indicates that there are 1,287 people from age 60 to 64 and 2,532 people over age 65 for a total of 3,819. Again, assuming 2 people per household, this roughly translates to 1,910 houses. And if all qualified and applied, results in a reduction of $179,540 in Measure B payments, or slightly over 25% of the total assessment. Obviously, this population overlaps with those in the prior criteria. One other criteria that staff had looked at was disabled veterans that own and reside at the property for which the exemption is claimed. Claimant must provide a current property tax statement and a letter of or certification from the Veterans Administration designating the recipient as a disabled veteran. Census data does not provide detailed information on how many disabled veterans reside in McKinleyville. Staff seeks feedback from the board on whether they should further research this program and whether any of the above criteria or additional criteria should be researched, and any further recommendations. And if the board directs, staff will return to the January 10th, 2024 meeting, or at a later, I don't think actually we'll be ready for the January meeting, so it likely would be a later meeting with a draft policy and application for exemption. Staff recommends that the board review the information provided, discuss, take public comment, and provide direction to staff regarding whether staff should develop an application for the exemption from Measure B assessment or McKinleyville property owners. Staff actually has some additional information that we'd like to, as you know, we are working on the audits right now. As you also know, Parks and Rec definitely has been struggling. And this last year, they basically, the expenditures exceeded receipts by roughly $250,000. So, you know, it's definitely the reason we went to such an extent to pass Measure B is because we really need it, and Parks and Rec really needs it. And, you know, I think at the time, the board made a very good decision of asking for the maximum amount. And if we start chipping away at that, it definitely is going to be a direct impact on Parks and Rec. So with that, I'll turn it back to the board.
Thank you. Any comments, questions from the board?
I've got a few, but I think I'll wait till everybody else. I just wanted to mention, I've got this dry hack that I've got. I took a COVID test yesterday. I took one again today, negative. It's just a kind of a hack that I picked up from the airplane flight, I guess. So I just wanted to, I know it's a big deal for, you know, stuff. So I want everybody to be at ease about that.
Thank you for not coughing on me. So we'll go ahead. Does Jim,
Well,
go ahead.
I'll jump in. I was
Okay,
gonna say,
good.
I like the idea of an exemption, but then when we look at the financial impact, I like that even less. So I guess I would not support an exemption, although, you know, I think it sounds really good. The fiscal impact is kind of too much for me.
Okay, yeah, I was talking this up with my board over at the senior center on a couple of different occasions. And I did mention the exemption, and that being a senior citizen would qualify them for the exemption. Since Measure B is passed, they all know that it's passed. I did announce it at the board meeting last month, or the one, last month, I think I did, or the one before. I haven't heard anything or had fielded any questions about how to go through the process to apply for an exemption. So it was stated that in a meeting earlier this week that very few people would in fact pursue this exemption if it were even made possible. So, and also just wanted to say that the zip code 95519 is a whole lot bigger than the MCSD boundaries. But be it as it may, yeah, I'm going to support that that we don't pursue any waiver.
Thank you. Jim?
As someone who would be eligible, because I am over 65, believe it or not.
I think most of us here are, Jim.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Except for one of us, I think.
And who supported and voted for this measure in the belief that of two things. One is it's not a burdensome assessment. And two, it provides a significant level of support for the development of this community. I supported, and I'll say it, I support it again, I supported and voted for this assessment. I'm on the other side of this recommendation, because I think what this does is it takes away what I and another 60% plus of the community voted for, wanted. And in essence, it nullifies our vote. Not 100%, but in a significant percentage. And that nullification of the vote is really troublesome to me. It was put to a vote. It was voted on, passed. And now we have some parties who say, well, let's undo this vote with certain qualifications. I would have a hard time supporting any sort of an exemption. So there's my statement. It's personal. It doesn't have to do with the community as a whole. It's just simply one person in consideration of what this could mean.
Dennis, go ahead.
Yeah, so if we do an ordinance, it will be ongoing. I mean, it won't be, you have a short crack at the short shot at it and it's out. I mean, you could, if you waited a year or two or three and you decided you wanted to, or your criteria changed, you could then opt into it. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We would set up a program that whenever you met the criteria, you
Right.
could apply. But on the reverse of that too, if we don't pursue setting up the program right now, it doesn't preclude us from setting it up at a later
doing
date.
one later
too.
date, I understand. I too voted for the
Assessment.
thank you for the assessment. And I might at some point in my life, if I'm not on the board, I might decide that I need to do that, like some other people might. As long as I'm a board member, I wouldn't do it. I probably won't do it anyway. But considering all the, I hate to say this, DEI BS we have to deal with all the time, and criterias that we get looked at as an agency for doing, and it's going to get more and more and more part of the checklist of whether you're okay or not. I'm thinking we should seriously consider it. I think it's something that we should have as an option for whoever considers themselves disadvantaged, no equity, and what's the I, help me, included. So anyway, those are my thoughts about it. I'm only 20%, no matter what we decide to do, but that's kind of my thought basis on it as to why we might, we don't have to do it tonight, but we might need to keep that as a consideration. We might need to develop, Pat, some suitable language in case we feel something percolating that we need to deal with. Just my thoughts.
Okay, I thought of something else.
Go ahead.
Kind of important. You four are over 65. I'm not. Would that mean that the four of you would be in violation of conflict of interest in voting for an exemption, then applying for an exemption, and then realizing that gain?
Maybe, I don't know.
That'd be something to ask Russ.
Yeah, it is something we can ask the legal
Yeah.
counsel. I don't think it would, because you're voting as, a member for the community. It's not.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Pat, but because we're opening it for everybody.
Yeah.
We're not, it's not exclusive to us or giving us something special.
The way the Brown Act is structured, if it affects everybody equally in the whole community, you can vote on it as a board member. So my inclination on this is, let's just set this item aside. And if staff kind of gets a feeling that there's a necessity for us to bring this back and hash this out, I think we can do that at a later date. I don't want to, I really don't think that we should preempt this. I think that this is something that we can be reactionary to. One of the rare times when I wouldn't say that it's okay to be reactionary, but I think that would be my recommendation. As far as it goes, I think it's a good idea. I want to thank staff very much for doing the legwork on getting this to us and doing such a good job on putting this
It's just an
agenda item
action
together.
item.
No,
Okay.
it's a
Oh,
staff
okay.
direction
So
item.
we don't need to do anything.
No, we don't need
Yeah.
to do anything.
Cool.
And I think that we can just kind of wait and see what goes on. One of the things that I had discussed with Pat during our board president, general manager discussion, pre-board meeting discussion was the impact on administering this. And that's really not captured here. So while all these numbers in here are projections of worst case scenario at using the census, this 20-year-old census. I think that there's a 23-year-old census. I think that the reality of this might be much different. There might, even if we did do this, the potential for very many people to want to apply for this right now. We don't know what that is. So I think that we'll get a better feeling for that. I think if we just kind of sit back and if we start getting scads of phone calls about, hey, I can't, this is putting me in a hardship and things like that. I think we can bring it back to the board. And then at that point in time, I think it's the board's political will in the amount of political capital we want to expend as a board to whether it's worth it or not to undercut the revenues that measure that the 67% of the people or 64% of the people in the community voted on. So I very much appreciate Jim's bringing that up, that the majority of the people in the community wanted this, and anything that we do to undercut that is basically taking away from the value of the people that voted on this.
Right.
So anyway, I think, are we all in agreement to just to let this go and bring it back, leave it to staff to, they feel necessary for us to bring it back.
Comment though, if I can.
And maybe if, and us as board members, if we start getting a lot of input on this, report that back to the general manager so that he can kind of keep a tally on what's going on, since we can't talk other than when we're in board meetings. So that the general manager can kind of keep an eye on, on what the community's saying about the fact of whether or not there's going to be a means of getting a waiver on this. And yeah, go ahead, Dennis.
So I had this thought when I was reading the thing, and I didn't prompt until the percentage of people that voted no. Is there a way that we can look at that age group and just kind of, because everybody that voted yes for it, I think, wouldn't even be interested in entertaining it. And if the percentage that voted no, if we looked at it and maybe 10 or 20%, I'm just curious, just a exercise in data. That's all.
Yeah, we have names and addresses, but we don't have ages.
Yeah, I think putting together the demographics on the names and addresses might be more than what it's worth.
Yeah. Okay. I just, yeah. I thought you had a little AI in your corner. That's all.
So I will open it up to public comment. Anybody from the audience or anybody from the ethersphere? No, I want to recognize Supervisor Madrone is in the audience, and I'll call on you in a little bit, Supervisor Madrone, to give us a recap on what's going on with the county. Anyway, are we okay to move on to the next item, board?
Yeah. Have to table it or anything?
No, no.
Okay.
Staff, okay to move on? Do you got enough direction? Very good. So we'll move along to item E8, which is consider adoption of draft 2024 2024, 2029 strategic plan for the McKinleyville Community Services District. And this will be presented by Leslie Frisbee, Recreation Director.
Okay. District staff and the board began the process of updating the district's 5-year strategic plan in April of this year. The draft 2024 to 2029 strategic plan you can be reviewed in attachment 1 is the culmination of the series of meetings and processes that took place April through July 2023. The update process began on April 10th with a special meeting of the Board of Directors during which the district's mission, vision, and values were discussed, as well as priorities for the district. Following that special board meeting, district staff participated in a brainstorming process, assessing priorities and reviewing the priorities identified by the board. On June 12th, 2023, the board held another special meeting to finalize the mission and vision statements, as well as to select the top 3 to 5 priorities for the district over the 5-year period of 2024 to 2029. Attachment 2 shows the priorities as identified in April by the Board of Directors and district staff, as well as the results of the prioritization process the Board of Directors completed at the June 12th meeting. On August 22nd, 2023, the board held a special meeting to finalize and approve the mission and vision statements for the district. Following the August 22nd special board meeting, district staff used the results of the June 12th special board meeting to craft goal statements that encompass the priorities identified through the process, and then created an action plan for accomplishing the goals over the next 5 years. The action plan was the last step in completing the draft 2024 to 2029 strategic plan for the district. At the November 1st Board of Directors meeting, the board reviewed the draft and provided feedback to the staff for edits specifically to goals 2 and 3. Staff added some language to clarify the measurability of the goals and actions as requested. Staff recommends that the board review the information provided, discuss, take public comment, and adopt the draft 2024-2029 strategic plan for McKinleyville Community Services District.
Thank you. Any other comments from staff? No? I'll bring it back to the board. Any comments from the board? No.
I like that the draft has gotten shorter and shorter.
I want to thank staff for providing us with the worksheet from the process planning. Thank you very much for providing that for some clarity. I've made all my statements that I had concerns about to the general manager. And none of them are going to affect our ability to approve this tonight. So I'll entertain a motion. Oh, I guess let me open it up for public comment. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for a motion in a second.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we adopt the strategic plan for 2024, 2029 for the MCSD.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second that.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. Joey, could you please call roll?
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Mayo,
Yes.
and President Orsini.
Yes. And so we'll move along to item E9, which is consider approval of ordinance 2023-02, amending regulation 42, operation of Pearson Park of the McKinleyville Community Services District regulations, first reading. And this will be presented by Leslie Frisbee, Recreation Director.
With the addition of the skate park to
Are
Pearson
you
Park.
Parks and Rec Director or Recreation Director?
I'm Parks and Rec Director.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been cutting and pasting. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Flawed human.
Sorry to interrupt you.
It's okay. With the addition of the skate park to Pearson Park, the district needs to update our rules and regulations, specifically Regulation 42, operation of Pearson Park, to add rules for the new skate park amenities within Pearson Park, as recommended by the Special District Risk Management Authority. Rule 42 can be reviewed in attachment 1, shown in track changes from the original wording. Ordinance 2023-02 can be reviewed in attachment 2. This is the first reading of the ordinance. Staff recommends the board review information provided, discuss, take public comment, and approve the first reading of the ordinance number 2023-02 by title only.
Thank you. Any other comments from staff? Board, any comments from the board? The only thing I have is, as Leslie stated, this has been reviewed by, our liability insurance carrier. And, it's passed muster with them, and our district council has also reviewed it. So I'm very comfortable with it. I don't see anything glaring in this that I think is unreasonable whatsoever. In fact, I think it's, the basics. And ultimately this, is important that this is in here. I know that there might be people in the community that might say, why do we have to have all these rules? Well, needless to say, God forbid if somebody hurts themselves out there because they're not following standard practices for safety equipment that they need to wear, or they're consuming alcohol, or they're smoking, or any of those other things that we've had issues with at softball games or in the park. It's here, and we can fall back on these rules. So it gives staff the ammunition they need to be able to take care of one of our facilities. With that being said, I will go to the public for public comment. There's no public comment. I'll bring it back to the board for a motion in a second.
So I'll move the motion with one quick comment. I am blown away at the use that thing is getting.
It is, it's pretty cool.
And you know, I wasn't a big fan in the beginning. I wanted all these kids to have ponies.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. Joe, would you please call the roll?
Director Bender,
Yes.
Director Beitman,
Yes.
Director Couch,
Yes.
Director Mann,
Enthusiastic, yes.
and President Orsini.
Yeah, just a mediocre, yes.
Yes. Got to balance out.
Yeah. Didn't want to get too excited. So now we'll move along to item F, which is reports. And this we'll go to F1, which is active committee reports. We have the Parks and Recreation Committee, which is Binder and Beitman.
Nothing further to add to Director Frisbee's report as printed.
Thank you. Area Fund. Binder.
There is no activity at the area fund.
Okay. Redwood Region Economic Development Commission, Beitman.
The commission met this past week ago Monday. It was a usual meeting format, which was the meeting time is largely occupied by a presentation of some invited group or organization. And this time it was Elizabeth Connor from Regional Housing Trust Funds, explaining what the trust funds were, how they are being applied to providing grants and directing towards affordable housing. That led to discussion of whether the purpose of the Redwood Region Economic Development Commission should be changed, or discussion should be undertaken to change it to include the support of affordable housing. And that the reasoning given is that many employers are finding it difficult to recruit and hire employees because the employees cannot afford the housing in the county, and there should be reasonably priced affordable housing, and therefore it links to the economic development purpose of REDEC. I think the issue was only discussed and it died, but it's interesting to see that that did come forward and it was part of the discussion of the meeting. The other item that I noted, I think would be of interest to this board, is that in the member reports, the Harbor Commission reported that they, let me get my notes here. They have, it looks like they are in line to receive $426 million to support the construction of a heavy lift terminal in the harbor. And that terminal would be purposed, as I understand it, to support the development of the offshore wind development. The other thing they noted is that the aqua farms permit has been approved. Coastal Commission has approved it, and there's one more approval to be gotten, and then that project will likely move forward. So there are two, on the Harbor Commission, there are two very, very significant programs that appear to be well on their way to fruition. And one of those is being the heavy lift terminal, needing support then for the offshore wind power generation, and the other one being the fish farm, the aqua farms. So I think that was the substance of that meeting. What strikes me is the format of the meeting and the discussion of the meeting has consistently centered around having a feature speaker at each meeting, which I find interesting. I'll just say it that way. So that's my report on REDAC.
So I had a couple questions, Jim. Did you guys talk about Avelo leaving at all? The flight to Vegas?
There was some discussion on that, and it came out. Avelo's departing. What came out is Avelo, as far as I understood it, Avelo is not departing. They're simply changing the schedule of their service. Now, that may not be correct.
Oh, well, you're right. They're going to keep the flight to Burbank. That's for sure.
Yeah, and
it's the Vegas, right? Did you get an indication that we had any advance notice of it, or was it just real quick?
Well, it just certainly did not come before the REDAC board. I'll say it that way.
Okay. And the other thing I wanted to comment on was Nordic. Their hearing is on the 13th, and I gave written testimony, and we'll try to get in oral form as well. And if anybody is interested, it would be good. Let's see,
That's at the Board of Supervisors?
No, this is at the Coastal Commission.
Coastal Commission.
On the 13th, they'll hear the appeal of their terrestrial CDP originally issued by the county last year. And they feel, thankfully, that the commission staff has recommended a finding of no substantial issue for the appeal. And so they're hoping that the commission agrees with the staff, and then the county will be able to issue their terrestrial CDP, which is a big deal. As many of you know, I do a lot of lobby work for our crab fishermen and our commercial fishermen, and a lot of concerns, but I can guarantee you that we're much more worried about this damn windmill crap out there than the fish plant. So anyway, just if anybody's interested, I can give them the info to get a hold, so.
Thank you. So McKinleyville McKinleyville Senior Center Board Liaison, Bender.
That would be me. We've got a lot of stuff going on in November. We had our open house on Monday, November 13th. We brought in a whole lot of people who were interested in seeing what we were about. We passed out a lot of written material and information about our programs. not only information that was produced in-house, but also materials from Area 1, Agency on Aging, Humboldt Senior Resource, North Coast Opportunities, and our other partnering organizations. And we made quite a bit of money, and that was really nice. The Mad River Rotary was kind enough to once again fund, set up, serve, and take down a Thanksgiving bruncheon for our seniors on the, let me see, it was on the 16th of last month. And that was very well received. They were able to host 65 of our seniors, mainly our program participants. And everybody had a great time. And we thank you guys very much for doing that. And it was catered by Humboldt Senior Resource Center. They have a Title III kitchen and brought everything up in their catering trucks and right through the back door, and it worked out really slick.
Yeah, I know the second year in a row where I've had to be in Sacramento on that day. It bums me out. One of these days I'm going to get to go to that.
One of these days you will. Okay, and we've got our Christmas boutique set up over there. We put a shout out to the community to you know, that we'd like some Christmas decorations, not only decorate our center with, but to help us in our fundraising. Community comes through in a big way, and our back room is full of lights and ornaments and Christmas knickknacks and red and green things, and looks pretty Christmassy in there right now. And that's you know, helping pay our bills. And we've got a whole lot left over because I hear that we're getting a Christmas tree donated to us after the Holiday Crafts Fair this Sunday. They're going to pull the tree down, put it at the end of the lobby, take all the decorations off, and we're going to put the ladies to work on that 10-foot tree. So Azalea Hall's gonna be benefiting, and our seniors are gonna decorate the tree.
Cool. Make sure that they're following the OSHA elevated platform rules when they're up there decorating that 10-foot tree.
I'll let you come and supervise that.
Fall suppression and all that stuff too.
Okay, and right now, last week and the week before, I was busy working on our Giving Tuesday fundraising, and we're starting to see some checks roll in. So we got our fingers crossed for a real big year on that. And other than that, programs have been going great. They're growing, none of them shrinking. And wish Dennis would come in and play some more cribbage. Okay. All right, we got another person coming in this Monday, new person. So onward and upward.
Thank you. So Audit and Finance Committee. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know whether you hear it. I'm sure you do, Scott, but I want you to hear it again. How much I, and I'll make it we, appreciate the work that you're doing with the senior center. It means a tremendous amount to our seniors in our community. I just want to thank you for it.
Yes, I'll echo that gratitude. And so Audit and Finance Committee, Orsini and Beitman, we haven't met since the last one, but we're meeting next week, I believe, on Wednesday, I believe. Oh, Friday. Okay, on Friday.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll have a report for you for the next board meeting. Employee negotiations, couch mail.
We have not met.
That's probably a good thing at this point in time. The McKinleyville Municipal Advisory Committee. We haven't met since our joint meeting. We took November off. We will have a meeting in December, on December 27th, I believe it is, or something like that. And Ad hoc Committee, Community Forest. Have we met since? No. Our last report? No. I'm feeling like we did. Yeah.
It was talked about in the document. It was in October.
Oh, it was in October. Okay, so we've met since. Yeah, okay. Yeah, with all the stuff we just went through tonight, I was kind of confused. So anyway, now we'll move to legislative and regulatory reports. At this point in time, Supervisor Madrone, do you have anything that you'd like to add? It's probably. Yeah. Okay, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yeah, no, thank you, President Orsini. I'll try and be brief here. Just give you a few updates if that's what you're asking for.
Sure.
Yeah, so the town center draft ordinance is complete. And now we've put out to bid requests for bids for the EIR. And unfortunately, all of the bids were about 100,000 or more higher than the money the county had allocated. So we've been meeting with the Pearsons and Life Plan Humboldt and others to see if we can all work together to raise the final 100,000 and hire the contractor and get that done. And that looks like that's going to proceed okay. So we're going to get that process continuing to move forward after all the hard work by the MICMAC to get the draft ordinance complete. The next thing I wanted to share is that we had a long meeting yesterday and we spent 2.5 hours talking about Measure Z. And unfortunately, with the downturn in the economy, as well as the fact that somewhere a year and a half, couple years ago, the place that the sales tax goes to, which Measure Z is a sales tax, for a while there, it was going to the point of origin of the sale, but now it goes to the point of distribution. We don't have any distribution centers in Humboldt County, so we have lost in the last year and a half or so significant revenues from sales tax because of that change that occurred.
What does that mean?
That means that if you order something online, if you order
Oh, okay,
something
gotcha.
from
Yeah, gotcha.
Amazon,
All right.
and it comes out of a depot in Sacramento, Sacramento gets the tax.
Gotcha. I understand now. I just wasn't tracking. Sorry, Steve.
No, great clarification question, Dennis, because frankly, I'm still learning about all of this. I didn't know it till a week ago. I had been under the assumption that we were still getting sales tax from the point of sale. So we need to talk to our representatives when you talk about your legislative platform. I think that's incredibly unfair. Clearly, the sales tax ought to go to the point of sale, but that's not where we're at right now. So we're in a really tough position with Measure Z. In a good year, we had enough money not only for improving the sheriff's positions and a bunch of other public safety positions in the DA's office, DHHS, but we had money for fire services, significant money that has helped a lot of volunteer departments get engines and get better air gear and all that kind of stuff. Well, that dropped down to less than 400,000 we could give them this year. And it continues to be an issue, as well as ambulance, which we're required by law to help provide. And so yesterday we had a very difficult discussion trying to figure out how to manage all of those public safety needs with a declining revenue stream. Hopefully in the next year or two, that revenue will go up, but we've got some long-term issues with the structural element there. Perhaps we all as a community overestimated what Measure Z would be able to do. For instance, we believe that most of the community thought it was, some of it was going to go to roads, and it really has not. So we're looking at a new road measure in November. We've got a lot of work to do to figure out that. Some would like to add transit to that measure. So we've got a lot of outreach to do in the community as well as with the cities to do that, because if we don't get some revenue for our roads, I don't know what we're going to do. They're in horrible shape. So that's that update. We have the Valadeo subdivision, which is happening right up Gwen Road past the CSD's facilities up at the vacant lot where the old Gwen Ranch was, the old Mrs. Gwen's house. And Dane Valadeo is working to develop a bunch of housing there. But the community up in that end of town is very concerned about what that development looks like, how dense it is, and other things. And yet everybody also understands that we need more housing. So The community has appealed the planning commission's decision of about 2 weeks ago, where they approved it with a few changes such as speed humps on Gwynn, speed humps on Pickett, and perhaps some other safety issues and measures. I had a nice talk with Dane today. He's already working to try and modify some of what he's proposing to try and better meet the community's concerns about changes in their neighborhood. So as always, a very difficult balancing act in trying to get those things all to work out. Let's see, I think I had one other thing there, and that was Vista Point Park. We now have gotten the FAA permission to be able to transfer that parcel on the west side of the freeway that the county owns that is covered in brush, big fire hazard, and homeless camp, and potentially use that to combine with the Caltrans parcel. If the CSD would like, I'd be happy to come and make a more detailed presentation about the Vista Point Park concept, which I firmly believe will help pull money off the highway into the town and support the retail industry in a big way. But, you know, everybody has their opinions about that, and I certainly can see Dennis nodding no on pretty much everything I'm saying. But hey, everybody has the right to their opinions. And I'm just trying to give you an update on what's happening in the community. And that's it. Thank you, President Orsini.
Thank you very much,
I
Supervisor
got a
Madrone.
question.
Oh, sure, go ahead. Dennis has a question for you.
I spent most of the day trying to stick with you guys yesterday. Thankfully, with these phones, you can put it in your pocket while you're out in the shitty weather doing stuff. And I never heard what you did with the OHV item. Did you pass that or table it?
The OHV item was passed as part of our consent agenda.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I wanted to support that. You know, I've testified probably 15 times at the OHV commission in support of that. Dale Warmoth and Don Amador and I worked. Anyway, thank you. I wanted to be sure that was done. I didn't see that. So thank you.
Yeah, you bet. It was a long consent agenda, and we had some donations, 25,000 from the Murguia family for horse trails in the McKay tract, which I thought you would probably be very happy about as well.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you very much. So any other legislative and regulatory, I'm sure you've got something, Dennis.
We have some things. Want to go.
Oh, Scott, you want to go first?
Me? Yeah. Well, guys, I'll try to make this fast, but there was a lot of
Well,
stuff.
let's condense this.
Well, I'm going to try, but it's making conservation California way of life. We've talked about our staff it's a big deal, and it's not going to be very flexible, and our staff is totally on top of that item. So I want to thank them for that. I spent quite a bit of time with Joaquin Escobar. I always say his last name wrong. Escobar. Esquivel, yeah. Really, really brilliant man. Anything that Governor Newsom does that's good is because Joaquin had a talk with him. So that's how, they're just not going to give us any flexibility on this EV. This EV deal's just, we spent a lot of time in committee meetings. This EV deal is just really bad. The first speaker that we had at our conference down there was from the EPA, the new EPA, the governor's EPA representative, Yana Garcia. And I'm going to tell you, everybody at the conference, and I'm talking about liberals, conservatives, moderates, were pulling their hair out, screaming up and down. And not only was her tone deafness and what she had to say bad, but it was that we all realized that she's speaking for the governor. She had about 15 points that about 7 of them were spot on that we all worry about with our water, our legal rights, the EV issue and stuff. And her other 7 points were all reasons that we're not going to get it done. That Anyway, sorry about that. It's just really frustrating. I think, as all of you know, when I go do the work for our district and do the work for Aqua and I ride for the brand. Okay. No matter what my position is, I'm there to work the best I can for the unit. Okay. And I will always do that, but I'm damn well going to speak my mind about how I feel about this stuff. And we're in a bad situation. Our governor just doesn't have a clue about what the water professionals need. And he should listen. Joaquin also said this and told him, you need to listen to the water professionals. Okay. Real quickly, I'll get one more quick thing in here. And this is really important. Let me see, where's it at here? Okay, there's a group that Scott Hamilton, Water Blueprint, worked on the San Joaquin issues. You need to go look at the Water Blueprint online and check out his data. And he has the correct data on how much water we really use. What captured water does the state get in the totality of water? What does ag use? What does municipalities use? And it's pretty eye-opening. The PR that we hear all the time is ag uses 80% of California's water. That's because that's a lie they've been told, and media doesn't do their homework. This outfit that he represents, this is amazing stuff. They have predicted accurately for the last 8 years our precipitation. And they've got, it's not really a model. It's more like I don't know how to describe it. It's not a model, but they really do the research, and they're predicting 10 and 11 months in the future what the weather's going to be. And they've been accurate for 8 years. So I would suggest everybody take a look at this. One of the things that they've kind of come up with is we usually have 3 wet years, 5 dry years, 3 wet years. Even in the drought, you know, they're different levels. So I'll just leave it at that. I've already got my rooms and appointments. I got 30 appointments in DC in February. Joaquin's going to be there. Him and I and Scott, Josh Alpine from Region 3 are going to meet with our, hopefully with our congressman for dinner. And so we're trying our damnedest. We're working hard, and we appreciate your support for allowing us to do this legislative work. Is that short enough?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Scott, did
that's
you have
short
anything?
enough. I really don't have anything to add to what he said. Mainly I attended mainly communications seminars, as I'll be joining the Region 1 Communication Committee probably in January. And so I spent a lot of time doing that. Yeah, the making conservation of California a way of life and applying it to the McKinleyville Community Services District. I read the bill, and it's the typical Sacramento one-size-fits-all approach, and it doesn't fit us very well at all. The reporting requirements would be too onerous, and it'd cost the staff an awful lot of money, and it would really do nothing for us, because as far as a one-size-fits-all, you know, we're not like drought-prone Southern California or the desert or anything. So that's all I got.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be as brief as I possibly can. As the board member for the California Special Districts Association, we had our last meeting of the year. And then prior to that, we had our last legislative committee meeting of the year. And during that meeting, we discussed, there's a couple of initiatives that are working their way to be on the November 5th ballot of this year. And they're both going to require 500,000 valid signatures. And I don't know at this point in time where we're at. They were getting close, but I'm not 100% sure where they're at. But the first one is initiative 2000. The first initiative is 23-0015A1, which increases requirements on government agencies and legislature when responding to records request initiatives. I'm going to go right to the meat of the subject, and then we'll discuss a little bit of what it entails. And they're forecasting that this could cost up to $1 billion for public agencies to be able to respond to this. The main motivation for this is to require the state legislature to have to respond to public request acts, which I think we all agree would be a good thing, but also in the process of that, it also holds that they'll be dismantling the agency's capabilities of withholding records. The revision procedural requirements for initial public records request responses. 5-year, it'll be a mandatory requirement that all records are maintained for 5 years. Revisions to litigation related proceedings on the expansion of requesters' authority to obtain records related to information. Novel website posting requirements will be increased. The reopening of past court decisions pertaining to public records, provisions applicable to work performed by vendors, arbitration and reverse CRPA related actions, weakening of existing withholding provisions. And one of the biggest things is that the ability to be able to redact is going to be public records is going to be highly impeded, and that probably will be one of the biggest issues with your ability to know what you can redact and what you can't redact. Is going to be that's going to be kind of touchy if it in fact passes, which it sounds all snazzy. We're going to make the legislature now have to be part of the Public Records Act. Well, that sounds great until you find out all the other stuff that's buried in there. And then the other one is Initiative 2023-0025A1, which is the California Homeownership Affordability Act. And there's a lot of minutia in this one related to CEQA and things like that. But the big red flag for us is capping the amount of capacity fees that we can charge for new construction. That has the potential for us to not. I'll give you these, Pat, so that you have them. For us to not be able to charge what it costs us to expand capacity in McKinleyville. That's the part of this that's the most concerning as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, with that, does anybody else have anything on legislative and regulatory reports?
No, thank you. I had that on my list, but I'm glad you brought them up.
All right, thank you. And so we'll move along to staff reports. Finance and Administration Department, Nicole?
I don't have anything to add.
Thank you. Was there anything that James is nothing to add?
He has nothing further to add.
Okay. Parks and Rec Director, Leslie?
So many things that, no, I have nothing to add.
Nothing to add. Okay. And General Manager Kaspari?
I wanted to update you on the 4.5 million gallon tank construction. It is going, the rain has definitely put a damper on things. No pun intended for Steve. Jeez. And it has slowed it down. So we're they got the subgrade done, but it keeps getting wet and we're trying to get the floor poured, but we have not successfully done that.
They could build a tent over it like they did in
Taco Bell. Yes.
Until the wind starts blowing tonight.
The Fisher lift station, we got that grant I mentioned last time, that we are going to upgrade that. We just went out for RFQ It actually went out today, is up on our website, trying to find a consultant, an engineer to do that work. And last thing, want to remind everybody, and that is what the program is in front of you, that Dave's retirement party is Friday. Not this upcoming Friday, but the 15th here, 4 to 6. And you all are listed on the program to speechify. I think we'll have President Orsini kind of do the initial stuff and hand out the gifts. We have a bunch of other gifts for him as well. And then have the family speechify and toast him. And then you guys and anybody else who wants to talk. So there'll be no drinks, since we'd have to get a permit to serve alcoholic, or well, there'll be non-alcoholic drinks, but yeah. But there'll be food and stuff as well. So hope to see you all on the 15th as well. That's it for me.
Thank you. Yeah, so for my president's report, since this is my last board meeting as chair, I just want to thank the board and staff for making this very easy for me to do this. I very much appreciate all the help that I had in getting us through this year as the chair, and the board members for helping out and participating and cooperating with me on this. I very much appreciate it. Thank you. This was a lot of fun, and I was looking forward to it, and I wasn't let down with it. A lot of responsibilities. Thanks to Pat and the staff for with the process of getting the board packet out and getting the pre-board meetings that we would have about the briefings and things like that. So I just want to thank everybody involved, and I very much appreciated it, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So thank you very much.
You have to do at least 2 terms as president.
Yeah, we've done that a time or two, haven't we? And you've done a great job,
Yeah.
Greg, but, and I don't mean this, well, I just say it.
I'll take it
A
the way you
good
say it.
Staff can make us all look good.
Yes.
We really appreciate
Yeah.
our good staff.
Well, and the board, and also the board made it easy for me, so that helps
Do
out
what you
too.
tell us.
Yeah. That's good, damn it. So board member comments, announcements, reports, and agenda item requests. Anybody, anything?
Nope.
No?
I think Pat's got plenty on his agenda for you.
Okay. Very good. So I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.